Live, 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 Uziel's live for you to join along. Live, 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 Uziel's live for you to join along. What's up, everybody? We are back at our live Tuesday reaction here with a special live reaction to a podcast episode which I've never watched. I've saved it since it came out, and I'm happy to finally react to it. Motty Steinmetz interview and the inspiration for the nation. Shout out to Yaakov Langer, which we are close friends, and I even interviewed him for the podcast. Funny story, his father messaged saying thank you for the interview, which was pretty fun. But yeah, and here we are reacting to it, and I'm so excited, especially when it is now Sphera, and we can't really watch or listen to Jewish music or concerts. So we are here to still talk about Jewish music by watching interviews or other content that is Sphera safe, including a podcast episode of other podcasts and interviews and so on and so forth. So we are going to react to Motty Steinmetz. Motty Steinmetz talking on inspiration for the nation. I've only seen like 10 seconds of it, and I saved it since it came out for an event like this. So a reminder that every Sundays, when it's not Sphera, we have our Sundays reactions, and every Tuesday we have our live reactions, and every Motzei Shabbos we have a podcast episode. I don't know if we have a podcast episode ready for this Motzei Shabbos, but we have a lot of guests cooked up, ready to get interviewed and be edited and ready to go. We're just finalizing a few dates. And meanwhile, I'm also working on a special project. Find out later in the video what the special project is. Stay tuned. If there's a comment that asks me what the project is, I'll tell you. But until someone asks, I'll save it till the end of the show what the special project I'm working on is. So let's get to this. Remember to comment for any shout-outs and Q&As, whether it's on the topics of Jewish music or this podcast interview specifically, or if you just want to just get a shout-out, or if you want to just ask me a question about anything else besides for what we're tackling today. But still, comment below. That's the point of the stream, is to interact with you guys and to get along with people that are interested in the topic of Jewish music. And that's what the point of the stream is, to talk with you guys. So comment below, and every few minutes I'll get to your comments. So let's get to this interview with Motty Steinmetz. Motty Steinmetz is obviously a singer, one of the best singers of our generations, for sure. There's a few things I know about Motty Steinmetz. I do want to save it, though, for the podcast, just in case if he mentions it. And it's going to be a cool episode. So let's get to it.
They called me for a show in Afula. I remember I was sitting in my house, Tisha B'Av, at 12 o'clock, and I'm receiving a message. The feminist Shdula, how do you say Shdula?
Movement, the feminist movement?
Appealed the court about this concert, and the court says you're not allowed to do this concert separately. I remember I sent a private message to a friend. You'll see, it's not gonna happen.
So I remember something of this sort of story happening, but I'm not sure what happened or the details of it. So it'll be cool to listen to it from him.
I'm not gonna sing like this. An hour later, I'm hearing in the news the singer was announcing he's not gonna sing there, and it was like the whole land was burning.
How did a young boy from Vishnitz grow into one?
Yeah, let's just skip this. So let's just go straight to the interview. Bum, 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 bum. Up, too far.
Part of our history, and you're on this journey with us, and I appreciate you for that. Here we go. Motty Steinmetz, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I'll be honest, we had a few conversations before, and I, of course, know you, have heard your music. I didn't know that you speak English.
Yeah, it's quite surprising.
Yeah, when I was listening to this podcast for like the 10 seconds before I stopped it so I could save it for a live stream like this, I was shocked that he was speaking English also. That was great.
The truth is, it's a dream that I have in my childhood to know English. I grew up in Viznitz. And I think in Yeshiva Gdoile, I started to more get into it. I remember I found some charts that Bucher wrote for himself. We have a lot of English, Amerikaner Bucher in Yeshiva. And some Israeli he wrote for himself a few notes about the basic English. And then I saw Aleph, A, Bais, B, okay? And then I remember the first thing I had a bottle of some drink. And I tried to translate the cover in English. This was like the first moves in English. Then a year or two later, I came here to Los Angeles. And I started to break my teeth, how you say it, yeah? And I think the main thing that gave me the fluence.
You could tell from the editing of the podcast, there's so much pauses and glitches. I had that, I'm not going to say his name because it's not nice to say it, but I had a podcast where I had a guest that every other word he was, it was so hard to listen to, and he was also repeating sentences. So I had to edit a lot. But I didn't want to show that on screen with all the glitches, you know, because it's not pleasant to watch also. It's easy to hear, but not pleasant to watch. So what I did was use a lot of stock footage or use myself as a recipient of the conversation on display. But that took so long to edit. It was such a nightmare to edit that episode.
In English is veloya baishan lomed. And I was never shy to make a mistake. Yes, there was people that used to laugh at me over there in Los Angeles, and I say it makes sense that you laugh, but tell me how to say it right. So that way is was one step after the other, and I came a lot to him here in the United States, and I'm constantly speaking English. And after this, I got married. My wife they live in Bnei Brak, but her parents, her mother, is from England. So it's a bit different accent, and also, but it's helped me also to sharp up my English. And I think hopefully you understand.
No, it's really great. And I've told you, I've had other people here who their English is not even as good as yours, and people totally understand it and get it. And you mentioned Viznitz and growing up. So where specifically in Israel did you grow up?
So I was born actually in Rehovot. My parents lived there. There was a Shikun of Viznitz there. And when I was 2 years, they moved back to Bnei Brak, Shikun Viznitz. Shikun Viznitz in Bnei Brak was founded by the Rebbe de Imre Chaim. After the Holocaust, he wanted to build a place. It's going to be like then it was out of town. It was surrounded with gardens and it was like more a village area. In a chussid should have everything it needs over there. So as today, we have in Viznitz, of course, kindergarten, Chayde, Shiva Ktane, Shiva Gdoile, Koilel. Even we have Moshev Kainem and a Beis HaKvoros. Everything a Yid needs in a circle of, I don't know, 1 kilometer, we have everything.
Growing up, were you always singing, or did it start at a certain age? Was your family singing?
Hashem put me in a very musical family. And it's going on for generations for now. My grandfather was...
I wonder if his voice is more genetically, where he genetically just has a younger voice, and so it runs in the family. Because then if you go for a Shabbos meal with his family, you know what I mean? Such a musical family, plus most or some will have that same type of voice. That would be a crazy Shabbos to listen to.
One of the closest people to the Havas Yisrael in Grois Verdan before the war. And and his brother-in-law used to sing a certain song, Yomim Noruim over there. And also, when the Havas Yisrael was Nifter, and his son took over, Imre Chaim, and his sons were still Bochum, the Heilige Rebbe, the Yeshis Moshe, and Rebbe from Monsey here. So my grandfather was the Baltfila Rosh Hashanah Shachris. Usually in Vishnitz, the Rebbe davens only Misef. In Shachris are davening the sons. So my grandfather was the Baltfila, and even he put in some nuances in the davening that until today there's a few changes in Vishnitz that my grandfather put in. So this was my grandfather, and then my grandfather, it was great-grandfather. So my grandfather came here and he brought a few nigunim after the Holocaust to Vishnitz. And also his brother who lived here, his name was Steinmetz, he has like a more thinner voice than me. Really like a bird. I can maybe show you an recording. And my father was for long years a member of the choir of Vishnitz. And Vishnitz is a choir was then led by Rabbi Newman Hartman. He was a very well-known musician, Chassidish Ingerman, of course. So my father was singing for long years over there. In Vishnitz, the music is a very big thing. Like the Mechaim says, that if Klal Yisrael is the army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so Vishnitz is the symphony, the Tizmoret. So I grew up in a very musical family. The music was a big part of Shabbosim, Yom Tovim. And since when I remember myself, I was going with my father and I stood by the choir. So when someone was tired of singing, I would grab the mic, and there wasn't a person more happy than me.
What's crazy about this is that, like, you can't tell how much younger he is, like, because he just looks exactly the same throughout all these years. You just can't tell if he's a bacher or if it's just like a year ago.
And of course, family simchas, there is a mitzvah dance, but Chassidim. So the moment the grammar finished his inviting someone, he put down the mic and he let the music play. So I took it immediately and we were singing, and I had even a picture of me like 11 years old or 12 with a mic like shining. Yeah, so this was like the beginning. I was singing a bit grammar for Bar Mitzvah, and then I was in Shiva Gdoile. I started to make grammar for Chassanim. So in Chassidim, today, it came in, it's like very trendy. In the chuppah, there's a bit grammar, yeah? Even I think about the more modern communities, so they bring Lipa Schmelzer or saying a few words to get in the Chosen Kala in the moment and to realize the holiness of this moment. So
wouldn't that be the job of the MC of the chuppah then? I guess that's what he's saying, but then, like, I don't know. Whatever, every chuppah is so different, but who knows?
I started to do grammar for the Chassanim. So by us, it's we're doing it in couple of sponim. Before we start, yeah, and they used to bring.
I just wanted to say that it's weird though. Like if they sing, is he talking about singing?
Baruch Hashem, I was very much.
Sorry about that. Is he talking about singing to the chassan in the chuppahs? Because that's a trendy thing. But or is he saying he's probably meaning singing? But who knows? Who knows?
Chassanim. So by us, it's we're doing it in couple of sponim. Before we start, yeah. And they used to bring me, Baruch Hashem, I was very much liar. Used to bring me for more like tough Chassanim that like more
to loosen them up.
Yeah, to warm them up, to bring them in to tears. Why to tears? Because Yom Chuppah is a very big day. It's a day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mechapes like a Yom Kippur for the Chosnei Kala. In Tzadikim says that it's like Chaval, they give it for so young children, but they don't realize how deep and crucial is this day for the continuing of life. So every tear in this day is so big because it's affecting every tefillah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the bottom of the heart is so effective of the continuation, of the rest of the life. So when I was doing grammar,
How old are you at this point?
I'm like 18, 19. And then a musician named Hershey Segal, but he's playing a woman band in wedding. Today is also very famous. He's doing video production, very successful. And I did with him a few very nice videos like Leman Yaidi and Chasal Seder Pesach, very nice, very successful things. So he was the first one to recognize that I have something unique, and he was trying to push me into the industry. Eventually, I met Ruvi Banet in a dinner of Vishnitz. Vishnitz did a few dinners, and they called me. I was already known in Vishnitz because of the grammar. And then it was a dinner in Yerushalayim, let's say a few months after I started singing in events. And the musician was Ruvi Banet. So I remember I came, there was like, let's say I started around Tisha. I would say this was Kislev or Tevis. I came to the rehearsal and he was very impressed. And then he invited me to a dinner in Achnasa Sefer Torah that Seret Vishnitz. Seret Vishnitz is a cousin of the Vishnitz. That his father, Ruvi's father, Reb Chaim Banet, the well-known composer that composed like Machnis Rachmim, Avinu Rachman, and Kol Yomar, and like the basic hits of Yiddishkeit today. So he composed a few songs, but I was there, and the rest is history. He told me, let's work together. And we started to work a few dinners and a few events. And then Vishnitz, let's say I started to sing Tishre. A year later, Cheshvan, Vishnitz had a dinner here in Monsey. And they invited me to come sing there. Hey, we give you a ticket, a few more dollars. Come over. Okay, very exciting to come to New York. And he hooked me up with a guy here named Yossi Rubin. And then I was singing in the dinner. After I had a bar mitzvah, and then a Shira choir saw me, Shira Gefav Gold. And I told Yossi Rubin, listen, you have Shabbos. This was Wednesday, the bar mitzvah. And he says, listen, we are going for Shabbos to Los Angeles. Shlomi the Rechnitz, his nephew, is having a bar mitzvah. Listen, let's bring him over. I don't know if he's gonna get paid, but let's take a shot. So I went to Los Angeles, and I remember on the way from the flight, from the airport, they told me we are going straight to Shlomi the Rechnitz's house, and we have a new song that he composed for the bar mitzvah, and we have to learn it. The name of the song was El Anar Hazeh. And then we are coming right away to Rechnitz's living room. They're sitting there with Levi Falkovich and Moshe Mendlovitz and Shira, and constructed the whole song, like you're gonna sing that part, you're gonna sing that part, and we're rehearsing for. And of course, the Shabbos was the bar mitzvah, and Sunday, a few weeks later, it came out El Anar Hazeh, and this was like booming.
Was that the moment for you that you felt like you've like made it big time, or like you've really been getting out there, or there's another time?
I think I came a month later. It was Kufal of Kislev.
By the way, if you want me to react to El Anar Hazeh, comment below. Maybe I'll react to it after 9 days.
Kislev. They brought me in for Shabbos. Rechnitz called me to be Shabbos Chanukah, to be by him. And I'm coming in, and I see who's sitting next to me is Mordechai ben David. And I was super excited, of course, because
Understandably.
I've listened at home to mostly Hasidic music, but if there was one CD that more from the Olam HaGadol, from the big world, was MBD's CD, Efshar Letaken. And I was listening to it. So I was very excited.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. That was, I don't remember the album at all. If you want me to react to any of the songs from your favorite from the album, comment below, let me know. But I'll do it after 9 days, obviously. But still, I remember having the CD in my house when it first, like, I don't remember when it first came out. I remember having the CD of this cover, though.
In Motzei Shabbos, Rechnitz introduced to us. He showed us a song. So, called v'seyoref. He said, I want you to do it together. I think the moment that I did this one, this was like the, okay.
Yeah, for me, it was also like when I was doing the reactions, and I'll never forget that moment where I did a reaction to Shlomo Simcha and Avi Rottenberg's song, Miracle, and literally hours later, I got a video from someone related to Shlomo Simcha showing him reacting to my song. And that made it like, okay, this is something. Like, this is going to start something. So, yeah, like, it's those moments, those first times where you really see the exposure in front of you. I'll never forget that. Also, like, I remember, like, A.B. Rottenberg like someone taking a video of him talking to me, sending a message to me, and I'll never forget that moment. I was directing the staff play, not the production side, mostly the acting part. So I was helping the building also a little bit, and then I remember my hands were full of paint, and I saw the video. And Avi Rottenberg's doing that. I just jumped. I couldn't touch my. It was like so insane. I had to like wash my hands and like that. These moments really like the validation is so much into your motivation and adding and just pushing more and more into what you love to do. And especially when those validations come from people that are from that space. So I totally understand what he's saying.
Something big is going on.
Is that super surreal to grow up on someone's music and then be invited to sing along with them? Like, can't imagine that.
Of course. Super exciting. And it's like, he's like kind of a role model for me because he's keeping very much the fundamental principles of Yiddishkeit, of separation, where I'm makpid very much on this, on separation between men and women by all the concerts.
Yeah, can we talk about that? There was an event that...
Before that, that's also why the theory is that why he won't sing at Has concerts anymore. Like the last one he did was Has 26, is because of the mixed sitting. Which, if that is true, I totally get it, like understand it. But like, again, for Has 40, if they get MBD, that would be amazing. And if I was a producer, if my sacrifice to bring him to Has 40 is mixed sitting, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because you can't have Has 40 without MBD. And they're going to do it anyway. I know for sure they're not going to bring MBD. If they do, I will be so shocked. That would be the most surprising thing they do if they brought him to Hask. But if I was a producer, I would do it in a heartbeat. But I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't do it. And I would be so shocked. I would be impressed. More than that, I'll be impressed with the Hask production now if they did that.
I guess you could explain more that they said it was, but then it wasn't. And then you're like, hey, I have my rules.
Yeah, so when I entered the music business, I came in to my Rebbe, Moron Rabbi Yisroel Ben Lai Esther, L'Refuah Shalayim, and he's a big refuah now. And he told me one thing: keep on separation.
Also, like, of course, like mixed sitting is a lot of people follow that rule and a lot of people don't. It's a very mixed bag, but there is a sense of like respect for the singers to keep their fundamental principles when they are in producing concerts, like for example mixed sitting, because then you have like this form of respect of authenticity with the singers.
This is the only demand he had. Since then, when I come in, this is what he is asking me: do you keep
Men and women separate.
Taharas HaKodesh? So, it was a story, Baruch Hashem, I think it was after I released Anshama Bekirbi. I had a tour of shows in Taharas HaKodesh. And they called me for a show in Afula. I remember I was sitting in my house, Tisha B'Av, at 12 o'clock, and I'm receiving a message. The feminist Shdula, how you say Shdula?
I'm not sure, movement, the feminist movement?
appeal the court about this concert, and the court says you're not allowed to do this concert separately. And I remember
When you have these type of stories, by the way, in America, it's like, oh, great, we have to go through this again. But then when it like happens in Israel, I bet you people, it just like it's really personal. It really hits harder because like why are we going through these type of situations and stories and scenarios in Eretz Yisrael? And yeah, Shabbat Kirby was more than 10 years ago, I think. But still, like, it's just, like, a lot of things changed, obviously, because of a lot of things, and October 7th, of course. But still, like, just why? Why are we doing this? There's no one, it's just making everybody miserable on both sides, on every side. It's just, like, there's no point in making such a ruckus for nothing, and especially with your brothers and sisters.
But I sent a private message to a friend. You'll see. It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna sing like this, and it's gonna go back to the court, into the higher court. And he did something that usually it's not friendly, but eventually he sent this message to other people.
Oh, okay, he sent it just to him, and it's like going around.
In like an hour later, I'm hearing in the news the singer was announcing he's not gonna sing there, and it was like the whole land was burning. Like in Afola, they make 300 shows in the summer, one show for the Haredische Tzibur. Okay. It made a big Kiddush Hashem, like the standing on the principles. And of course, later, came another judge, he said, it's allowed, and they appealed to the higher court. And in between, I entered the stage. It was the same day I entered the stage. When I come down the stage, they are telling me the Supreme Court was banning the show from happening. Okay. The show was over, and Baruch Hashem, we made a kasher show there. It made a huge Kiddush Hashem that it doesn't matter what, there is principles.
It's not just about Kiddush Hashem. It's like, it feels like Kiddush Hashem should be reflecting on who you are and how proud you are of your principles and staying with your principles in front of Goyim. And then when you're with Yid and with your own brothers and sisters, it's just like, yes, it's a Kiddush Hashem, but like, it's just so sad that it came to a point where you have to defend yourself, and then it becomes the whole thing is just messed up.
And we're not gonna let anyone to move us away from it. It's a time of in Eretz HaKodesh. Unfortunately, there is a lot of sin, hatred for the Ehrliche Yidden, and I think it gives courage to inspiration to other people.
You know what's funny? I get back to what I was saying about the glitchy editing. If you watch Mattis Freeman, he did an interview on something Jewish podcast, like a Fry guy. It's about like he's famous, like he's a celebrity, and he has a show about Jewish celebrities in Hollywood or in comedy or whatever in the secular spaces. So he interviewed Mattis Freeman, and it was so jarring to listen to it because him or his editors literally went in and took out every pause that Mattis Freeman does. Mattis Freeman is a big pauser and a ponderer in his interviews, so just to listen to that, it was just like, what? And you also could tell in the editing there was no like glitching, like because he just shifted the angles from all three cameras in that interview. I don't get why they can't do that with this interview, but because like I already half the interviews. Again, it's not against Motty. Even I, as an editor, when I do podcasts and I get into these situations where you have to like make it more pleasantly listenable, then do it. And I'm not like the one to take out all the uhs and the pauses. I don't do that for sure. But when it comes to an extent, you got to make it more pleasant than it is.
To hold on their principles and to go ehrlich and not to get scared of, I don't know what it is. It's money, it's fame, it's huge stages. So I remember after this, I went to the Tish in Vishnitz, and the Rebbe sent me Shraim. He said, Baruch HaMakadosh Moy Barabba. This was very, very exciting, how you say it?
Yeah, meaningful.
Meragesh, meaningful. And since then, I had a lot, it's constantly happening. I had a lot of huge offers, if it's on the money side or it's huge stages. And Baruch Hashem gives me koyach to refuse to everything. And I'm sure I'm not losing from it.
It's really beautiful, and you know, it's such a clear test from Hashem, and you know, your Rebbe is telling you, okay, this is the one thing I care about. Then you have this big opportunity, and for you to be like, no, this is.
You know, I was at a concert with Akiva and Yakushweki, and they had men mix than women, and I was just wondering if they did a house concert where they did the stages like the audience like that, like you have 3 sets, men mix with women, would Mordechai David still do it? I don't think he would. I'm just wondering if a lot of singers that have a principle of not mixed sitting, when they get to that situation, would they still sing? Would they then sing, or they still say no? It has to be completely not mixed. Just wondering
the way it's got to be. And also, I don't really even understand the other side. Even with the feminist movement, you're not saying, you're just saying separate, like men on one side, women on the other side. Like it's a very, whatever. I don't really even fully understand it, but I'm glad that worked out. We'll be right back to this week's episode. But first, when 2 partners.
All right, yeah, we're gonna skip the ad, but guys, comment below, because that's the point of the stream, is to talk to you guys. Whether if you just want to say a shout out and just say hi, sure, or if you actually want to talk about Jewish music, or you just want to talk about anything in general. That's the point of the live streams, is to interact with the people who are watching and just have a conversation with the chat. That's the main thing about the streams. But yeah, let's skip the ads here. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Too far.
And see how simple running a shul can be. In terms of music, growing up, was there a song that you or songs that you kept on? I'm sure there's a bunch, but was there one particular song that you just like kept on listening to?
I think it was depends by the years. Because there is several years that I'm listening to this, yeah? And when I grew up, it was a tape, of course.
Sure.
From Skaland called Ushivuli, where the soloist was Reb Abishbrot, Zangezind. He was the soloist. This was a certain time. And then was, of course, Vishnitz had produced very musical. Mona produced for Vishnitz a few albums. This, of course, was the...
Mona Rosenblum. I'm assuming that's what he is referring to.
Ground bass. And, of course, Moshe Goldman CDs. And Mordechai David, like I mentioned. And I remember when I was, let's say, from the age of 13 to 16, it was like Michal Schnitzler. He was the...
Oh, Michal Schnitzler. Yeah. Listen, I know he's very big in the Jewish music industry and Jewish music, and a lot of people, like, it's one of their favorite artists. I only listened to one of his songs. I forgot what it was called. Let me look it up. It was called... It was very early on. Zachar Achamecha, maybe? Va'anachni, there you go. I remember that was the first time I was listening to a song on the channel that I cried to. Other one is famously October Rain, but that was the first time where I actually like felt really emotional. And yeah, again, it's one of the only songs I listened to to his songs, and it was amazing. And it wasn't like over the blue like song, like oh my gosh, he's an incredible like artist, and like it was just a simple song with someone singing something beautiful, composed by Yossi Green. It's just like all the elements just came together. I do remember that.
role model. I was listening to him. I didn't know how he looks like.
Oh, you just heard the voice. Wow.
Like 70 years ago. I was listening to him, to all the CDs. I know them dekel to dekel, say in Yiddish. From one part to the other. And until this day, I know all of his songs. Yeah.
A lot of people sing, but I think you're one of the rare people that you could see and feel the emotions. It's not just the music.
Of course.
How do you balance that? And also, you're singing very often. How do you have the energy to always have that emotion and put it in? You feel it. I feel it when I see you sing, and I'm sure you're feeling it. How do you balance that?
So I would start from the where is it coming from? So my parents are both very emotional people, especially my father. He's a big tzaddik, learns all day, doing a lot of chesed, but he's like a very emotional person. Like he sits, can you imagine? He's eating the kazayas matzah with tears in his eyes. So I grew up in very emotional. Of course, Vishnitz is also very emotional songs. And when I sing, I relate, I connect to every word I say. Yeah, there is days that I can come and it's not 100% there. I'm not
I'm sure no one realizes besides you, by the way. Like you're for sure your biggest critic.
Yeah, it could be because I'm a very perfectionist.
Right.
So I realize a bit small, but like I'm not a machine. It's not you press emotion, okay, tears, okay, check. So
I can attest also that like when I'm singing at gigs, sometimes it does feel like you're like between like just singing and machine, like you're just singing, it's a gig versus like emotion. I don't really necessarily have gigs where I just feel like I'm just going through the motions, but there is like something where all the elements have to fall into place in order to act. For me personally, it is harder for me for me to hit the emotion of the song. Mostly when I doing gigs, it takes the time, it's the build up to get to that point. Nigunim slowly gonna get me into the mode right away. If there's songs I have to worry about, like I'm not sure the words, so I just learned it or something, then yeah, I'm it's not about the nerves, it's just there's also nerves, but I'm talking mostly about like how I'm tackling it as a gig. But yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of different elements. It's like the time of day, where you are, the atmosphere, the type of simcha, the type of gig. You know, it's all the different things that attribute to how you tackle emotionally in the gig and the music.
When I sing, I connect to every word I say. It depends also in the connection, in the event, in how
I was just saying that.
feel
Look
in
at that. Day. I was just saying that.
So let's say this week I had a gruppe that famous producer here, Ellie Friedman, married his oldest daughter, and his son is the Nitzer Fischerleime, Yosef Ishia ben Fremet Beile. Whole story, and I came to the Gippe, and I started to sing Chamoyle Vishnitz, and the tears like broke from themselves in this situation. Or there's several other situations, even a simple wedding that I come and the Gippe, and everything is very emotional. So yeah, the tears could come, and but I'm very open with my emotions. Like there are people that are thinking that tears are a sign of weakness. I think it's the opposite, because I'm not shy to express my feelings. Like, yeah, this is what I feel now. This is what I bring you to the table. I bring it to the mic.
I think that's very brave, and you see that in your personality. You're not shy by nature. You're outgoing, and you're out there, and it's cool that you're music, it's reflected in your personality. How much of your personality do you think got you to where you are? Obviously, your voice is gorgeous and it's amazing, but there's also there's a person behind it. How much is the music and how much is the personality?
Wow.
Obviously, it's all siyata d'shmai.
Yeah,
Of course. That goes without saying.
Listen, I don't relate to myself my victories, yeah, if you can call it like this,
Success,
my
yeah.
success. So I can't tell you if it's the voice, if it's the emotion, if it's a personality. I don't know.
Like he said, you can't really explain it, but I think it's all different things mixed together. Like I said, it's a lot of different elements within yourself, elements of the venue, elements of the time, elements of the... It's just all different elements really contribute to it. But obviously, it's just how it is.
I think it's probably combined. And overall, it's, of
Like I
course,
just
you have to
said.
smile
Okay,
because
I gotta stay
you can
quiet
think
because I'm
you're
just
very
saying what he's saying.
clever or you know what to do and eventually see, no, wrong direction. So I put in a lot of tefillas. I daven all the time, constantly. I daven on every aspect in my career. In Baruch Hashem, I think tefillas are like how you call the flowers? Atzitz, when you want to put water,
To water the flowers.
the water flowers. It's like you water every day the flowers. But like this, I feel the tefillah, another tefillah, another tefillah. I think eventually something is blooming.
When you're singing a song like Rahmana, and maybe you're making eye contact with people, and I'm sure you're very emotional, they're very emotional, what's going through your head?
So if I'll take the song Rachamona particularly, it's a Chabad song that I love very much. And I feel like it's deep in my soul.
Oh, Rachamona de... Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They have something in the Chabad songs, befat Chassidische songs and Chabad songs, that brings up lots of emotion.
Like I just said before, when I go into a gig and I'm trying to build up to a mode for myself into the singing, Chabad is going to get me into it right away. The other songs, it'll take time, but Chabad Nikudim is just something special about them that brings something in within inside of you that you can't explain, I can't explain, but it's just something to it. And like I said, lack of a better word, it's magical.
If you take Lamosh Lovinu Malkeinu or Rachamono or Achle Lekim, first of all, also the meaning of the words, and also the tune is something so... I think I'm quite concentrating in the place that I'm in. So when I'm singing, I'm quite in the singing mode. I don't know if I look at the crowd so much, especially on this emotional song. So, but
for me personally, it's in the first song that you go in the gig, you kind of have that build up where you're in front of everybody. But once you get into the song, you're just out of it. I just did a wedding. I'll post the video after when we listen to music again. But I did a wedding in Eretz Yisrael where I sang Berchas Abanim. It was a family, and they just like, oh, we're just, like my father just told them, hey, just call him up, he'll sing a song, and I had nothing prepared. I didn't pick anything. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna say no because they said, oh, welcome Azil the Parstek from Myrtle Beach to sing a song. I'm like, oh gosh. I got on stage and I'm just like, I don't know what to sing. I just don't know. And I felt so bad because the guy who was playing was Leibel Lipsker. If you know who Leibel Lipsker is, he's like the Chani Maleki of Israel. Like he's huge. And he was like, I was a big fan of, I am a big fan of his. And I was just like, shucks, like I'm just like frozen in front of him. And then I'm just like, I was like, okay, Uziel, focus. I gotta come up with a song. And he's like saying, ooh, like what about this one? I'm just like, no, it's gotta be the right one. And I like compose myself and I picked the song. And I said, Berchos Abanim, and we just quickly exchanged notes about like the key and the pitch. And then I was just like, okay, we got it. And I started singing it. And I was just like, the first notes when he's doing the intro, I'm kind of like looking around, it's always, I know no one there at the wedding. Even my family, I haven't seen them in years, so it's like the first time I'm like essentially meeting them really. And just like I just started singing, and right when I started singing, all that went away. I just went into straight the music, and I hate the moments where you got nervous in a way, and when you got into the music and there's pauses because of the bridges, or you just end the song and you're like, oh wait, I'm back into reality in front of everybody. Those are the moments that are frustrating. But when you're doing a long gig, when I'm doing a long gig, I kind of get used to that. But still, like the pauses are when you're like, oh gosh, I'm out of the mode. Wait 1 second, I got to get back into it, because that's the only way I could go through the gig, is when I'm focused on, when I'm not even trying to focus on, when I'm in the mode of singing, because just music takes me out of reality. It's just natural for me where I'm just singing in a gig and it just takes me out. I just forget where I am, forget what's going on. I just sing it. Obviously, I'm focused on the music and the player, but still, like, there's just something it's about it that takes you out of it in a positive way. And then when there's a moment where there's an opportunity for me to get off that mode, I'm like, oh wait, I'm back in reality. Oh my gosh. But it's fun. I love the thrill.
Let's say I sing Kol Kol Zaman Shana Shemu. Of course, I'm here with the crowd, but this kind of song, it's like a very overwhelming, you say?
Sure.
So I connect to the words, and it's like a davening, it's like a prayer. But usually when I come to a concert, and yeah, it's different than a chuppah or something else. When you come to sing with people, of course you want to see that the audience are relating to what you say. I try to bring in the people in my zone, if it's emotion, if it's simcha. And sometimes the time, if I see the crowd is not enough there, I'll try to do whatever I can to bring them in.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. Okay, so we're doing a new.
For me, when I'm at gigs, the hardest is when you lose the crowd. That's the hardest. Typically, it's different every type of situation for how you would get the crowd back in. Sometimes you switch up the song. Sometimes you stop the medley and do something else in the venue, and then you go back to the music. It depends on what the gig is and where you are and the type of people that are in the crowd, whether it's the geography, like New York or Florida or just other places, or Israel, or if it's kids, adults, it's just teenagers. It's always different.
Thing where people send in questions, and we sent to an exclusive group, a few people that they know that you're here, and we got a bunch of questions, and this is one of the questions we want to ask you from the group. In Atik Yamin, you brought back old melodies from Vizhnitz, Lelov, and other Hasidic dynasties. How do you decide which nigunim to revive? And do you ever feel like carrying a musical Messiah on?
Getting to fan questions like it's only halfway in the interview. I don't know if interesting.
On your shoulders. Melodies from Vizhnitz, Lelov, and other Hasidic dynasties. How do you decide which nigunim to revive? And do you ever feel like carrying a musical Messiah on your shoulders?
I'm not saying, I'm just pausing because to get to the point of like doing covers or singing old songs, I think it's just how passionate I am. When I did Bekosh Rechol, it was not even about passion. I was doing a project, so I decided to record it, but then I was like, ooh, this song is good, so let me do a music video about it. When I do covers or parodies, like the Tefillin song, when I did a parody of Oidi Shama, I was thinking of different songs or maybe to compose a new song, but once in my head, it popped in my head, Oidi Shama from Miami Boys Choir. I knew immediately I got something, and I was so passionate about it, and I was so driven about it, that it was so good for me, so I got into it. So it's more about like your passion and how, because sometimes the passion leaves. There's a lot of times where I wanted to do music or do a song or a cover or a parody, and just the passion like either I realized I was just too passionate about or have too much nostalgia for it, and so it didn't age well with my feelings about doing it. But still, it's just about the moment. Like, how do you feel? And if that feeling continues on as a legitimate feeling, more than just, oh, I got an idea, let's do it right away.
Yeah, so the answer to this has two parts.
Okay.
So, Attic Human Project is a project that is things that I grew up on. So I usually want to bring Chedishim, like less things that were already recorded here and there, more things that is a Chiddush to the world. And that's why I pick songs and but I'm trying to combine, it should be like a journey, not all the time just regesh. And regesh, simcha, bring different angles of the songs. So eventually I have a lot of songs and I need to pick what I think the crowd are going to connect to. Because there are certain songs that I am like, very
That was especially really glitchy. Let me play that again. I just want to see
to
how it
pick what I think the crowd are going to connect to. Because there are certain songs that I am like,
I don't know if he said "cause there are" or "of course there are." I couldn't tell.
very connected it, but it could be for the crowd it's too heavy. So it's like a balance. I know the Attic Yomin is a project that not everyone is. There's people that want only new songs, but there's a huge crowd that want the Chassidish, authentic, pure. It has something very pure in it. And I want to bring these songs that I grew up and that are part of me. I feel like it's a part of my personality, and to bring them to the big world. It's not should not be only in Vishnitz or Lelev. I see that I have an influence on a bigger crowd, and I want to bring this holy nigunim to the wide world. So this is the one side of the question.
Sure.
The other one was, remind me, about
Do you ever feel like carrying the musical Messiah on your shoulders?
So I feel like I'm trying, first of all, to be myself, to be in the place that I feel.
That's the best way to go about it, is just be yourself. But also, like, what every project I do, like, what is your goal, and like, what are you trying to carry? And I think it's just, first of all, being myself, but also I just want to bring good quality back to Jewish entertainment. Whether it's just, I don't want to bring it necessarily. I don't want to necessarily be like the guy that go like, I'm gonna lead the revolution. I'm more like, I'm just trying to be a person that wants to spotlight the fact that Jewish music or movies or films or shows, whatever it is, just Jewish entertainment in general, there are such good examples, whether old or new, of how good quality Jewish entertainment could be. And it's just a shame that there are people that produce the entertainment. There are, not all of them, there are just probably most, unfortunately, are just doing quantity or checking boxes more than the quality of what you're trying to do in the music. And I just feel like, why are we doing that? And as an audience member that wants to just sit back and enjoy Jewish entertainment in a very bit better and more positive manner, I just want to be one of the people that to spotlight this issue. I don't want to necessarily be the voice of it necessarily, but I do want to just vocalize of me being the average viewer of wanting good quality Jewish music and just using what I love to do and making videos and talking about it and interacting with people about the subject. And listen, it's been great where the fact that in the chat sometimes, or when meet people on the street, or people messaging me back like, hey, you're bringing good points about Jewish music that I technically think about, but I never expand upon it. And like, you're kind of like bringing that mindset like, I got a message on the chat once. A guy was like, ever since I've been watching your videos, I've recognized more and more about Jewish concerts of what you've been pointing out about Jewish concerts that they're doing wrong. When I say wrong, it's not that in my opinion. It is wrong. Some things they're doing to Jewish music. It's just absolutely wrong. There's other things in my opinion, sure, but when it comes to Jewish entertainment, You gotta be doing the right thing in an authentic way. If your authenticity leads you to doing the wrong things, then you gotta look upon yourself and your music and say, why our audience is not appreciating it? Or why is it that some people do, some people don't? Then you reflect, then you look back, then you do research. And then sometimes they'll look at my videos and say, hey, I'm not necessarily the representative of why people don't like your music, or I'm not necessarily the representative of why people love your music, because a lot of times I'll praise music or praise entertainment. But at least they'll like look at my video and be like, hey, there's a guy who's an average viewer and he loves Jewish entertainment. What does he have to say? Whether they listen to me or not, it's up to them. But at least there's opinions out there that are being vocalized to the public. Whether it's my opinion or other people are doing the same things that I do, react to music or talk about Jewish entertainment, expand on Jewish entertainment, they have their own opinions too. But that's the point. When you are in charge of a business, or when you are an artist, part of that artistry or part of that business is to look at what people love. Sure, you could do stuff that you love that necessarily other people don't like. That's fine. But to say that like I am the definitive artist that people love, and I'm not going to change what I do because I'm very successful, that's kind of arrogant. You should be loving what you're doing because of your art, not because of the production side or just because I'm just doing concerts every day and therefore I don't have to add more into the quality because I'm pretty successful already. What are you doing? I'm not speaking clearly, obviously. I'm just saying I'm mixing different points into one long rant. But the point is, all we are looking for is authentic artists. That's it. And good quality art. That's it.
The music that I want my kids to listen. And of course, yes, I feel like sometimes I feel like the kid that stands with the finger on the dam, how it's called?
Finger on the place?
No, it's called, there is a huge dam, yeah, like how do you call the secher? Like when there's a huge river and you don't want it to flow.
Yeah, a dam.
Okay, so there's...
Oh, you're holding up the dam.
Exactly,
Oh, okay.
I'm putting the finger...
And it's holding all the water back.
Like... there is so much colors in the music in the Turkish music industry, but I'm trying to be the conservative, the
100%. 100%. And I respect it. Not necessarily do I listen to Motty Steinmetz all the time, or maybe some songs I'll love, some songs I'll think are okay, but that is what we need. We need artists that are just being themselves, but also they're trying to preserve the quality and the foundation of what made Jewish music so big and so successful even today. The classics that we still sing. Why are the classics from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s, why are those being so... Why are they the fundamental songs that our children and we grew up with and are still singing? And then when you go to other songs nowadays, some of them you hear them and then you forget about them a month later. There's a reason why this is happening. There's a reason why so many songs live so long. Of course, not every song from the 70s and 80s and 90s are good. Some of them are forgotten. Some of them just found their own audience and they live in their own place. But still, we got to focus on the quality when it comes to the quality of foundation of what made them so good in a meaningful, in a technic way, just so in every aspect of why Jewish music was so good. And then now you have a variety of different aspects and genres, which I respect. If you make music and it's not necessarily what I like, I'm not going to bash you. I'm just going to say if I like the music or not, but I'm not going to disrespect you as an artist. That's fine. But you should never stray away from what a proper Jewish songs should be.
Of course, it's sometimes a more updated sounds, but everything with the Chassidische feel that brings a person close.
And yeah, just like you said, it's not about technology. It's not about like, oh my gosh, music is more terrible because we're advancing in technology so fast. And that's up to the producer and up to the arranger and the musicians on how good the quality of their music should be. It has nothing to do with technology. Technology should only be making the process faster. They should not be replacing, or they should not be lowering your standards in quality and artistry.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes him happy and it brings tears from mine. So, to my opinion, of course, yeah, I believe there's people are thinking different, and it's good there is other music that people can listen to Heimish music instead to go and listen to.
I'm not, when I go criticize songs, I'm not, or when I praise songs, I'm not saying, oh, I love this song, so you should listen to it too. Actually, you know what? When I am praising a song and saying you should listen to it too, sure. But I'm not saying that I love the songs, therefore it's definitive best song of Jewish music by all shapes and sizes and standards, that should be the standard for everybody. And if I'm saying this song is not good, I'm not saying because I'm trying to bash a song or I'm trying to say the music is bad. I'm not trying to go against the person. I lost my train of thought of what the point I was making. But the point is, I'm not trying to say that this song is bad and therefore no one should listen to him anymore. No, I'm trying to say that I personally find this and this not so great, and this and this could be better, and this is actually good. How other people perceive music, and whether I like them or not, and if they agree with me or not, that is the point of art. Everyone has a different. I spoke to, what's his name? Rabbi Medina. He's the actor that I was on the movie set in Israel. He's in the Parchment Conspiracy and the Story Chest and so on and so forth. But he said that is art. Everyone has a different feeling about art, but your job as the artist is to try to be the most authentic to yourself, how to be the most authentic you can be for the arts, and then B, you kind of also have to make sure that the standard of quality and the fundamental foundation of what makes a Jewish song so important and good does not downgrade.
Not Yiddish music, but still I want my albums could enter every Yiddish shtim. Starting from the most Heimische.
That's what's great about the Hasidic genre. You're not trying to say, oh, I'm making the Hasidic music for Hasidic people. No, you should be making your genre for all audiences. So if, let's say, you are a Jewish rapper and you're making Jewish raps. I don't like Jewish raps, but you should not be saying, I'm making Jewish raps for those who like Jewish rap. No, you should be going that art and saying, I'm making a Jewish rap for anyone to listen. Whether they do or not, that is not your job. But your job is to make sure that you are doing it for everybody, not for a specific audience. Because it's a very micro-focused form of art that I feel like doesn't challenge you as an artist. Because if I, Uziel Leparstik, am making a video if I'm making a Jewish video, for example, where only Jewish kids will enjoy, I am, and it's not going to challenge me. It's going to be very easy for me because I know how to do it, and therefore you're not challenging yourself creatively. But if I go tackle a video and say, yes, there is a specific focus I'm having in the story and in the creation and the production of it, but I want to make it that everyone that watches it could have a feeling about it, could connect with it. Even if I am focusing a certain aspect of genre or storyline, whatever it is, still, I shouldn't be going into and creating art for a specific audience. I should be making art for everybody, but staying focused on what your art means to you and what your art means in your standard and quality of how good it can be.
And of course, like more conservative, if you can call it like this, yeah? Shamrani, Chassidish. And Baruch Hashem, there's a huge audience that love this music. And it's
And they're only going to continue loving it if you continue doing
even
and being yourself.
Goyim that love. But I'm not gonna do different music because I have
Right.
whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
الأفضل كمובן خاص بالشولم أيدس كويدش كودشم and there is
I'm going to compare because our podcast here it's has a similar idea of like we're creating for our core audience because we want it's from people and that's who we're creating for. Of course, if someone's not Orthodox or even if someone's not Jewish, if they want to partake and enjoy, like for sure learn from some awesome people out here. But our core, this is like who we're creating for. I started this with this idea of like when I was growing up, I didn't really have this podcast, and I'm sure when you had a lot of music growing up, but your music didn't exist then. I'm sure you're creating for your kids in a certain way, that they have from you.
of course I feel like I create for my kids, for the whole Yiddish people, and of course also for the not Yiddish people that want.
Tali Yes was saying how Maishi Yes and Evie Rottenberg, when they were making Marvel's Music Machine, their kids were the test subjects on how they would relate to the songs and the story tapes, and if they would understand it, they would love it. Because that's what that's the best way to go through art, is to test it out and find the best way to create it without compromising what you're trying to do in the first place.
To be closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they have also the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, the 7 commitments of Noach, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them the opportunity to be close to him, and of course to bring awareness of the one and only. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, that I sing, is the one and only God who created earth and heaven, and it's very important for me to give this message also for not Jewish people, because we are praying every day, the Sakein Oilam.
And yeah, like he's saying, but also to make sure that you stay on the right path and not changing your message just because you found a new place where you could spread your message. Because it's like, I was watching an interview I heard a story, not an interview. I heard a story of when there was this artist what was it? So a guy was making a TV show, and the TV show got so big, it like even people in Africa were watching it. And so for the next season, the producers of the studio were like, hey, because we are having a big viewership boost in Africa, we want to put a black African in your show as a character. And he's like, no. And they're like, what? And he's like, there's a reason why that we got this audience from Africa. Why change the formula just because we want to appeal to them? No, they're actually appealing to us because they're watching what we're doing and they're loving it. Why change anything about it, right? It's like a tightrope. When you're walking on a tightrope, are you gonna just right now you are safe and steady and balanced? Are you gonna try to play around unless you're a professional? But if I for some reason, by some miracle, the Abishur allowed me to stand on a tightrope by myself, balancing beautifully without falling, why would I play around and change around and challenge myself into a way where you might fall off the chain? You're stuck on a plan, stay with the plan. And when you're doing art, do your own art, be yourself, and people will find you because of you, not because you're trying to find them.
Malchus Shaddai. The goal is the whole world should be united in worshiping the one and only. And then the world is going to be good. Bezrat Hashem, Mashiach is going to come. Mashiach ben David is going to, Bezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to build the Beis HaMikdash, and the whole world is going to know that He is the one is ruling here everything, and he gives us
Amen.
life, and he gives us everything. And the only thing that you can do is to notice and to be grateful for him and to try to make a nachasriach for him.
Really powerful. We're gonna get right back in with Motty, but this is the last thing.
All right, this is another ad, so I'm going to skip it. But guys, please comment below. I would love to get to know you guys who's watching and just to say hi, or just if you have any questions about the topic we're talking about. But also, if you just want to ask any question whatsoever, that's the point of the live stream, is to get in touch with you guys. Because in normal videos, it's a one-way street. I put a video, you watch, and you comment, but I see it later. But still, I would love to have a conversation with you guys and actually like interact and engage and vice versa in this conversation in this live stream. So comment below. I'll answer all your questions, give you shout outs. Please comment below. I'm just skipping the ad here. Oh, went too far.
The best. Now back to this week's episode. So I want to dive into your new album, gorgeous album. What was the impetus? What was the driving force behind this album? And is there maybe, you know, it's like kind of asking someone their favorite kid, but is there a favorite song that you have from it? Take us through it.
Okay, so the new album, Emunah Ubitachon, Eminei Bituchu. I started this journey right after I finished with the first one, Anshama Bekirbi. Started to collect songs.
Does he only have 2 albums? No way. I thought he had much more. Well, he has tons of singles. Maybe that's why, but only has 2 albums? No way. Let me see. Releases. Yeah, one. Oh, Atik Yaimin. Atik Yaimin. I'm trying to see if there's other albums. Yeah, he only has, well, he has 3 albums, but I guess 2 original albums with original songs. That's so interesting. Well, I guess that's what happens when you're that big, where you all you could afford is to come out with singles, and half of those singles are live musics. They're not like, or part of another project. It's not even something that you or your producer produced together. You know what I mean? That's so interesting.
And of course, in the middle, I took a break like 2.5 years for the Atik Yomi project.
Mm-hmm.
But I continue to collect songs. And this on the way was songs that I thought it's gonna be on the album, and then I said no. I don't know if my taste is changing or the perspective of time gives you. So eventually, Baruch Hashem, I had a collection of songs that I thought are royal to La'allah Yisal Shulchan Elohim. Yeah, I think every song in this album is picked like with out of hundreds, every one of it. And there's so many good songs that it's very tough to point on one, because
I could imagine that, like, when you get that big and you get hundreds and hundreds of demos, how are you supposed to file through them? And then obviously you're going to have such good bangers and good songs. And then how much is it your gut? How much is strategizing on like which songs to actually place and put in the albums? You know what I mean? Because look at this album. He did 14 songs. 14 songs is a lot for an album. So like, I'm very interesting to hear the perspective of the producers and the singers when they tackle this part of the process of making the album. But I also kind of want to like be in that position where like, oh my gosh, there's a collection to choose from hundreds and hundreds, or from 10, whatever it is, just to choose from good ones and to go through the process of your feeling and your emotions, and you're trying to drive yourself emotionally. How do you feel, right? Because that's how you choose the music and art, from different aspects and collections. How, like, you have to like let your kishkas like drive you to. It's like letting a dog loose to go to you don't really know where it's going to go in the house, but every part of the house is amazing. You know what I mean? It's so interesting that it's hard to describe it because I never felt that way, but also I would love to feel that way.
There is people that are relating to Melech Habir. There are people relating to Simeni Kachotam. There are people relating to Esker, to Eliyahu Hanavi, to Samchem, to Alat Tzadikim. There's so much good stuff in there because I was working 7.5 years. There's people that are releasing 3 albums in this time. And of course it took so much time because I'm on.
Maybe that's also why it's taking Ava Fried so long. He always saying he's working on the albums. Obviously he's super busy, not even time to sit down to do the album. But still, like, the last time he put out an album was when I was in YSP, which was Ayin Ches, 2018. So yeah, we're almost 9 years, and yeah, we're basically 8 years since his last album. It's crazy. Last original album, because he did do the Project Relaxes, but original album.
The road a lot. Like last year, I was 4 months, at least 4 months out of home, and not beretzifes. Just like going for 2 weeks, coming back, and of course
you weren't 4 months altogether. But if you add up all the days,
yes, and of course I have jobs in Israel also, and I'm going into the studio. So there's days my voice is here, but I don't feel the emotions is good enough. Like I'm not there at a soft. There's days it's opposite. Like I have the emotions, but my voice is not really clear like I want. So eventually I recorded every song like 3 or 4 times until I was happy with the result. And I felt it could touch the people like I wanted to be.
I feel like that's... I feel like if you make an album, how are you supposed to feel in a way where like you completed an album? You know what I mean? For me, when I put out a song, there's always a part of me that's like, I could do better, I could do better, I could do better. But eventually you have to like stop somewhere and say like, yeah, this is... I hate to use the term good enough, but still, like, to get beyond of like, okay, we got to stop here somehow. But like, I just, as an artist, I hate that feeling.
So Baruch Hashem, I'm very happy. I'm receiving so much love and so much good comments on the album. So the hard work, I feel like it pays off, that the people are happy with it and happy with the nigunim. And I see him start singing it in the events and everything. And it's like a journey. It's a journey of emunah ubitachon. Like there is a lot of songs about Beis Hamikdash. This is what we want. This is what we desire all day long. Should come this day. And of course, until the Kreichme, we need a sip. So we need koiches hanefesh.
There's certain aspects that relate to how the process of making the album or not, but still, like, it is interesting to hear from his perspective.
Things to go by this journey. Every person has his journey in this world, and every man has his pekel. Everybody is dealing with something. So there's a few songs. Of course, the main song is Emunah Bitachon. Speaks about a story, a journey that a mother went through. This story is chashuv to say. Maybe Dova b'shem Amroi, maybe Gil Orelo, maybe Dova b'shem Amroi. So I have a good friend in London. His name is Avrom Berkovitz. And he heard this story from a rabbi Rav Mota Frank.
Sure.
That I think he was reading it by the Sefer Begana Emunah from a Rav Shalom Arush, that he is bringing it B'Shem Ma'archu Rabbeinu Chaim Vital B'Shem Ari HaKadosh. Zvoto tagen alenu. So the Ari HaKadosh is telling us a story about a family. The father is also a Talmid Chochem and also gives a lot of tzedakah. Torah Gdula b'Mokem Echad. And the mother is very ehrlich, and she teaches the kids on Derech Hashem and prays for them. And one day, horrific tragedy is happening, and their son is 3 years old, and is getting murdered by someone, and the whole city is shocked on this tragedy. And the father is getting sick and joining his son. Is nifter, and the whole city is in so much pain. This family was so much teure, avoide, gemilas chasodem. Davke fazai, just, and who can imagine what the mother and the almona, how she's feeling? She lost a child and a husband, and she's crying for long days and years. And one day, Erev Shabbos, she's standing by the lights. She's coming to light on the darkness in her heart. And she says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I know you are Rachem v'Chanan. And I know whatever you do, everything is with a cheshbon. But why, I want an answer. Tell me, why did I deserve it? Yeah, why does it came on me, these tragedies? And she's crying and she's asking questions. And the kids in the house are telling her, Mother, you're crying for 2 years. Our father wants to be in a menicha already. Right? You know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything that he's doing is a rachem v'chanan. We are ma'aminim, bnei ma'aminim. We believe everything is the best for us, even we don't see it in our flesh eyes. You have to be mechazek in emunah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you, and everything has a good reason, and it's the best thing that could happen to you. And she's listening to them. In first time for 2 years, she's going to sleep happy and strong with emunah. In her dream, she sees Gan Eden Elyon. Her husband comes to her and he says, they saw in heaven your emunah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw your emunah, and Bezdin Shel Mala let me to come to explain to you what is going on. And he says that in his previous Gilgul, he was a tzaddik gomer. He did all the mitzvahs beside one thing. He never got married. And it was nigzer of him that he has to go down to this world and to get married and to bring a family in this world. And the moment they did it, he was mashlim mistaken. And he went up there. Sholem. She's crying, she's nodding her head, and she said, I understand, but what's going on with the kid? Said the kid was a tzaddik gomer also in his feeling, but when he was a baby, he was kidnapped from his bed, and he was growing 3 years by Goyim, and he had to massacre these 3 years that he was eating not kosher. And you as a Yiddish mama, you be metaken him. But she's asking, so why he died on such an horrific way? Because before he came on this world, they knew it's going to be a very tough kitrug on the city. And he received on himself this way of death to be mechaper, to be the kapor of the city. Of course, it's not telling that why she has to go through, and of course there is an answer to everything. But the point is that nothing is happening here without a clear answer. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing everything. He's a toiv meitiv. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the mekor atov. How we say it in English? Is the
essence of good.
He wants, all his being is to give, to be good. And everything he does with us is completely the best for us. Even from time to time, you can't see it in our own eyes, and everything looks dark and the end of the world. But when we know everything is good, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is behind everything is, so the journey looks different. Because I know, hey, even I don't think it's, in my eyes, it don't looks good. Eventually, I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing. So when a person, a human being, is going around, and you know HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves him, doesn't matter where he is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you. So it's much easier. Everything is much easier. The Vishnitzer Rebbe says that what is the meaning of emina? Emina is like imunim, like training. Emina is a thing that you have to train all the time. Every day you have to remind to yourself that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is good. And even sometimes a person is trying to hurt you and you think, why is he doing this to me? It's not him. It's just a stick. It's like munim is like training. In betochen, it's like in Hebrew you say tiach. Tiach is like when you build a building, there's black bricks, and then you smear everything with what is it called?
Cement?
Cement. It's like cement. So this is all your a man needs to cement himself with betochen.
Solidify, yeah.
So betochen is a result of emunah. When a man lives with emunah, the result is that he's comfortable, that he's comfort. Wherever he goes, he's feeling good. And not only this, when a man is telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I trust you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, oh, you trust me? I'm going to show you what means trust. I'm going to show you how good I can make it to you. So, this is the main message that I want to bring.
I love it. And I love that you titled your album after it. And of course, we're going to have a link for it down below. And we have a link for your YouTube channel. In regards to Emunah B'tachon, just reminding me, and I think I've said it before, but I always used to get mixed up between the words Emunah B'tachon. Maybe because I'm from America, I don't know Hebrew so well. But Emunah, of course, is belief and faith in Hashem, and B'tachon is trust in Hashem.
Yes.
So someone once, I think it was maybe Rav Gav, he gave this example. He says, when you, let's say, go to a circus, and you see this person going on a tightrope and he's holding a barrel on his head. If you ask the people in the crowd, is he going to make it to the other side of the string? And he's up high in the air. If he falls, something bad will happen. So Emunah is the belief, like, yeah, I think he'd get there to the other side. B'tachon is, okay, let's put you in the barrel. Now, do you think he's going to make it to the other side? It's actually you being in it. And like, that's the trust in Hashem.
Interesting.
There's a different way of explaining about it in line with how you explained that. Really, really beautiful. I'm curious. I mean, we're gonna let you go soon because I know you have to sing. But I know that like in the singing world, there's a lot of people who are friends with each other. So I know publicly like Abram Fried and MBD, they're very good friends, and or like Benny Friedman and Joey Newcomb, they're very good friends. Do you have a person or two? I'm sure you're friends with everyone, but like, is there a person or two that you're like, oh, like maybe like they could understand whatever I'm like, I'm not sure what, maybe to compose a song a certain way, or I don't know. Do you have that kind of relationship with anyone?
I have a cousin, very close to, like a brother. His name is David Taub. He's also a composer, a musician, and a lot of other titles that I'm recording, like 90% of the vocals I'm recording with him. So if there is someone that I'm very close on this level, I would say it's him. And he's a very, very talentful guy. He's a composer, an arranger, a singer. So, but yeah, but I'm also very close to Ishai Ribo, very good friend of him.
Which seems interesting that like just from your different backgrounds, obviously it's going towards the same place, but you guys seem very different.
Yeah. A Yid is a Yid.
A Yid is a Yid. I
He
love
has a
that.
neshama.
Yep.
And there's a lot more musicians that I'm quite close to. It's not going in my mind now. I love Shmulik Frank very much. Shmulik Frank is also a musician from Eretz Yisrael. Composed a few famous songs. I love to sit with him, jam. Yes.
Obviously, I think the way most people know you as an artist, as a singer, but that's only one of your hats. I mean, I know you're wearing your hat, but like your metaphorical hats, right? You're a singer, but you're a son, right? To your parents, you're a husband, you're a father, you're an Eved Hashem. How do you, I guess, balance that? Because you're so well known everywhere, so everyone knows you for the hat of singing, but you're also, that's a big part of your life, but there's other parts of your life that no one really sees that as much. How do you balance that?
So basically, to being a musician, an artist, a famous person, it's a 24/7 job. Like wherever you go, people ask to say, and people asking pictures, and everything. I feel grateful and honored that I have the privilege to be misamayach people. Okay, sometimes not so comfortable, but I remind myself, like a person asks you a picture, it's a mitzvah. So even I count like 5 mitzvahs. Okay, but eventually, when I'm a father, I don't to being a musician. Eventually, it's affecting if I'm out of home or I'm away from home or something like this. But let's say as a son, I try to be a voile yingel, a good kid. And of course, there's some benefits that I can help my people, with my parents. I can help my parents with different things because of my lot of things.
I'm sure you have a lot of connections now.
Yeah,
and you're
of course,
out there
I can help them. But eventually, among the family, I'm like everybody else.
Right.
But of course, wherever I go, like I said, if I go to the park with the kids, I go wherever, I go to the grocery. But I do it with love. I'm thinking to myself, if I were to go all these places and nobody was saying anything, I said, okay, nobody knows me. And Baruch Hashem.
Really, really beautiful. Motty, thank you so much for doing this. And again, everyone should go.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great interview. But that last point where he was saying, that's the same thing as I'm free. Now, someone's asked, like, how, you're never nervous? Even like now, he says, but the day that I stop being nervous means I'm done. Or like his people say, like, you're never annoyed by the stuff. He says, halavai. How, like, can you imagine the day where they stop asking for selfies, you know? So that's the same fundamental aspect of looking at it, at fame. All right, guys, that was a great interview. Great ranting, enjoying, listening, interacting, but it was great. Thank you for everyone for joining and making it a great time for me to join along and listen to this interview. Comment below for other interviews that you think I would be interested in watching on live reactions. And stay tuned for After Above. We have a lot of things coming up. And as I promised, at the end, I will tell you guys what I'm working on. At the end, I'm right now working on special video analysis on different Jewish videos. And right now I'm working on a special breakdown and review, a longer format, not just a review, a discussion and breakdown and a very good analysis that I think is good. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, on the film Room 32. So that's going to be great. There's a lot of upcoming interviews. I will be interviewing people. I don't have, unfortunately, a podcast yet. Hopefully I could try to pick someone up and try to do something quickly before Mitzvah Shabbos. But yeah, usually we would have interviews of the People Talkers on Mitzvah Shabbos. Normally when it's not Sphira or when it's not the 3 weeks or the 9 days, we have our reactions on Sundays. And stay tuned for that. I will be in New York next week. So if anyone is around the New York area and you want to just say hi or just look out for me, I'm around New York. And in Muncie, I'm going to be in Muncie also. All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you around. And please subscribe and share to whoever you know might enjoy this content, because we got the only reason why I'm enjoying and still doing it is because of you guys. So let's keep the flame burning for all to see. For if you know that reference, you know it. All right, guys, I think that's it for today. Have a good day. Live, 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 Uziel's live for you to join along. Live, 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 Uziel's live for you to join along.